ranking every NBA team's logo from worst to best. Number 30 is easily the Nets. This is one of the most boring logos in all of sports. They just threw a letter B on a basketball. It's like they ran out of time when designing the logo and just did that and called it a day. 29 is the Pistons, another very boring and basic one, and I'm not a fan of this font style, but it does at least have some color to it, so that's why it beat the Nets. 28, the Clippers, another one with just some letters inside a basketball, but at least it does look kind of cool how they have the LA inside the C. 27, the Lakers. Now hear me out, I know this one's iconic, so this might stir up some controversy, but at the end of the day, it's just very boring. It's another one that just has some words inside a basketball, but at least the font does look kind of cool how it looks like it's slashing that way. 26, the Warriors. I know this bridge is iconic to their location, but why are you using a bridge to represent a basketball team with the name Warriors? It makes zero sense. 25 is the Thunder. This one looks decent and I like all the color to it, but my problem is I like logos that show me who the team is rather than just tell me in words. I know there's no real way to show Thunder, but I just don't think this logo represents their team name. 24 is the Pacers. Like a lot of the early ones we saw, just a letter and a basketball, but I do like kind of the racing stripe here at the end, so that's what kept it out of the very bottom of the list. 23 is the Trailblazers. I'm not exactly sure why, but I've never been a big fan of this logo. Maybe it's because if you just randomly saw this logo with no context, you would have no idea what it's supposed to be. 22 is the Spurs. Now this one actually does a nice job of representing the team name because obviously that's a spur, but at the end of the day, there's no color to it and it just looks kind of boring. 21 is the Cavaliers. The design is a little boring, but the colors make up for it because they pop a little bit. I like the sword coming up through the C. This one is decent. Number 20 is the Jazz. Now, I personally absolutely hate this font style. I think it's disgusting, but the good with this one is I love how they've got the music note incorporated into the word, and they've got a basketball inside of it. Very creative. 19 is the Magic. This one represents their team name well. The logo's got kind of a magical feel to it, and I like that they incorporated a basketball into the logo as well. 18, the 76ers. Personally, I'm not a fan of this throwback look, but the logo does do a nice job of representing the team name and the city with all the tributes to America's independence. 17, the Kings. A cool modern look. Nothing flashy to it, but it's nice. Got the basketball on the bottom and then the crown on the top, and I love this font style. 16, the Knicks. This is one of the more creative logos in the league because the lettering resembles the skyscrapers you would see in New York City, so I love that. But otherwise, there's nothing super flashy or interesting about this one. 15 is the Raptors. Nothing overly flashy about this one, but it's just a cool look. I like the way that the raptor claw is coming down across the basketball. 14, the Hawks. Again, another one that there's nothing super special about, but just a nice, clean, modern look, and I love the Pac-Man style of this logo. 13 is the Grizzlies. This is just an intimidating logo, and the color scheme really makes this one pop, especially the yellow eyes. 12 is the Wizards. Now, it doesn't have a ton of wizard elements. I guess you could maybe count the stars as that, but it does represent the city of DC very well with all the tributes, the red, white, and blue color scheme, and obviously the Washington Monument in the center. 11 is the Rockets. It's a simple design, but a really creative concept. You've got the letter R to represent the word rockets, but then it also looks like a rocket ship shooting up, and then you've got the rings around just like you'd see in outer space. Number 10 is the Suns. This one is perfect to represent their team name. You've got the basketball inside the flaming sun. I do wish there was a little more color to this one, but otherwise it's very good. Number 9 is the Timberwolves. I love all the color throughout this one, especially the neon green. That just really makes this logo pop. And then obviously the Timberwolf in the front of the logo looks pretty cool. Number 8 is the Bucks. These colors mesh together really well, and the buck itself just looks sweet. But my favorite parts about this one are the M in the middle to represent Milwaukee, as well as the basketball up here in the antlers. Number 7 is the Mavericks. I've always been a fan of this logo. I love the way that the horse is intertwined into the basketball, and then a cool font style here down at the bottom. Number 6 is the Heat, one of the most iconic logos in all of sports. It perfectly represents their team name. It's got a flaming basketball going through the ring. I love this one. Number 5 is the Nuggets. Now, at first glance, it might seem a little plain, but so many great tributes to their location in this one. The axis here, and then the mountain ranges up top, and then obviously got the basketball down on the bottom. Number 4 is the Pelicans. Now, it's hard to make a pelican look pretty intimidating, but they did a nice job of that. It's also holding a basketball, and then this logo has tons of great tributes to New Orleans throughout. The font style feels perfect. Also got the little design up here, and then the fleur-de-lis. This one's nice. Number 3 is the Bulls, one of the most recognizable logos in all of sports. This thing just looks sweet. It's also intimidating, and the red just really makes it pop. Number 2 is the Hornets. Obviously a more modern design, but it just looks awesome. This logo is fierce, and I love the stinger down below. They've even got a basketball incorporated, and the font style is really cool too. And number 1, the best logo in the league, it's got to be the Celtics. It's absolutely iconic and perfect for their team name.